Wow, I've not recorded a podcast like this in a long time. I want to do it more of an audio journal and to do it more consistently, doing it every day to showcase basically what has happened during that day and how I'm progressing. Already, I think it's too boring. Today I had two castings. They went quite well. And after the castings, I did a live stream for an hour and a half and talked to some people from India, which is cool. I stumbled across a temple which was Xianse Gong, something like this. It's in Xinbeishi, and it is perhaps the coolest temple I've seen in Taiwan. It has a pond and a lake and these winding rocky pathways all around it, and it feels like a little adventure to go up and down these paths. Yes. And the temple itself is 3 stories, and it is perhaps the closest temple I find in Taiwan to resemble the ones found in Beijing in mainland China. So I thought that's pretty interesting, and this temple seems to have it all. It has rooms, for each of the shrines, and each of the objects that they have, they have all sorts of different things. The way I'm describing this is kind of... But anyways, so this morning, what did I do this morning? I forgot. I think I was maybe editing video or something like this along those lines. I think I was quite productive for the first 2 hours. And then I went to castings. Okay, I have 2 castings. And then, I walked a lot today too. Again, listening to podcasts, Modern Wisdom. The particular episode is with Tim Ferriss and learned a lot from that. And then I, of course, taking notes in my Obsidian. Remember seeing a bunch of book recommendations and things like this. And then, contemplating again on the website. And I think I'm doing good. I think with social media, I just started posting, once a day. And maybe I will vamp it up to even like 3 times a day. Something crazy like that. Or at least like maybe 2 times a day. I think 2 times a day is pretty good. And I can post on TikTok and Instagram. YouTube Shorts. It seems that YouTube Shorts actually get some views and people actually subscribe. So it's interesting. I just need to find, what content is sustainable for me and interesting and the kind that I want to create. I think on my Instagram, I don't want to create like the crazy reels that actually have no meaning. I want to create something where every time that you see it, there's some valuable, like maybe you want to save it or just funny. I think funny is also something I want to create to get more comfortable in front of the camera. Now, as for my website, I am thinking about, continuing the everyday journal, and then I need to open everything to make it available to the public. And then I need to find some kind of system where, it's sustainable and not too much of a hassle. And even this audio journal that I'm doing now, I can put that up on there, things like this. And for the audio journal, I want to keep it on with my Obsidian notes perhaps. And then I want to do a once a week newsletter. And perhaps, I don't know about regular articles, but I think I should not spend so much time on low leverage tasks. So for example, on the website, I shouldn't spend, extensive amount of time writing these articles. I should rather be trying to create YouTube videos or some kind of video format because it's the same as writing, to be honest, and it's just more challenging and it has, greater impact, and I can cut it up and put it places. But with the writing, the impact is quite low. And if I'm spending all this time using AI to create the images and things like this, then the impact is even less. And so it's perhaps something not so valuable. I think this audio journal is worthwhile though, because it, how can I say, helps me compile my thoughts and what has happened during the day. It helps me to remember everything that has happened and to think about it again. So for example, I listen to all this podcast, but What did I actually learn from the podcast? Well, that is an excellent question. And do I have the answer? Not sure. Now I'm looking at my notes on Obsidian. And one thing is like last night at 4 a.m., right before I slept, which is technically the day that I'm recording this podcast. Anyways, I actually felt elated and happy. I just laid there in bed and smiled for I don't even remember the first time. Normally I go to bed stressed, thinking about all the things I didn't do. But this was one of the first times that I felt just so happy and proud of myself and smiled, and it felt like life was a game and it was the right difficulty setting for me, where I was receiving, some positive feedback for the things that I've been doing that has been good, while also still having that difficulty to, give me some stimulus to continue growing, something like this. And so I was, very happy, I can say. Apparently I sneezed in the weirdest way possible. I'm looking at my notes right now, things that I wrote. Also, I think when I have inspiration to write, I should just pull out my phone and take those Obsidian notes. This will come in handy later, I think. And so to not be so worried about that. I think perhaps too, I could even record this on my phone as a video and have a video podcast for it as well. Perhaps that's asking too much. I'm not sure. I actually could try that in a moment, just as a test. Then, I post the thing on Instagram in the morning. Then I also wrote something about a funny moment that happened between me and my roommates. And then I was listening to the podcast. And I met another model from America. And we talked a lot, and he's more American than me. He plays football. He's been living in Hong Kong for 2 years, but the way that he dresses and the way that he talks and his mindset is definitely very college boy American. And then I was listening to the podcast. There's a bunch of book recommendations, which I can try to read for you. Awareness by Anthony somebody. I don't know his last name, and the subname is The Promises and Perils of Reality. The other one I think is called Gold, and it's supposedly some poetry book. I didn't pick up the name of the author or anything. There's another book called How to Change Your Mind by Michael. Again, don't know the last name. The next is The Effective Executive. Then there's Little Big, The Fairies Parliament by John. And apparently this one is like a fever dream, like taking some kind of mushroom. And then next is The Ape Who Understood the Universe, which is about evolutionary biology and how we humans are built. And then the last one is Red Rising, which is a fiction book. And I've actually read this one before. Really good book. Very interesting. Now, why particularly that they recommended this book, I'm not entirely sure. It was very enjoyable. But what is the hidden message that they're trying to talk about? And then at 9:30 p.m., I wrote, what if I use my website to explore who I am? And what if I write posts about this, perhaps keep posting over years, memories, everything, thoughts, and opinions? This is an interesting idea, but it's obviously quite difficult to keep up with. And trying to stay organized, I find, is one of the hardest things in life. I'm already floundering at all points. And I find that staying organized is actually the hard work for me. For some people, maybe it's shooting videos and things like this. For me, shooting videos and things like this, I like the excitement. I like to do it. But sitting down and actually doing the work, I suppose, the more menial tasks of sitting down and editing and trying to get everything organized into some coherent storyline, or just doing boring stuff like deleting filler words and things with places that you mess up. So that's something that, kind of have to do. Now, at 11:40 p.m., I'm like, I don't know how it is so late. I've tried editing a video clip, but to little avail. The video I edited, turned out actually quite bad. But time has passed in a blur. Basically, the last few hours, especially during nighttime, I just kind of fumble around, kind of scrolling on my phone, kind of trying to edit some videos, transferring some files. It's a dreary life. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. And then the last question I have for myself is, what am I doing? But I think what I just did now, where I just talked about my day, even though maybe perhaps it did not start so great, I think eventually once I start speaking, I warm up and I can do it quite well. And I think using Obsidian to just take notes during the day, do this audio journal, and then I can perhaps just take these notes from Obsidian, maybe delete some of the personal things, and then put them directly onto Ghost, my website, along with, this audio clip. This audio clip I can put on Spotify and things. And I think these podcasts, I could even, record video, which I'm going to try in a second. Maybe just put the microphone on my phone and see if I can just record it like that. Super easy, super quick. Take that recording, bam, slap it on YouTube, something like this. Not sure. We'll see. Anyways, that is it. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to keep trying my best, and I think one day I can make it. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
In the darkness of the night, a hero emerges with a heart of fire and a soul that never falters. He sets out on a quest, a journey to the unknown, facing demons and dragons, carving out his own throne. Through the valleys and mountains, he fights with all his light, his voice like thunder, echo to the